Hello and welcome to Connected, episode 369. It's made possible this week by our sponsors, Trade Coffee, Clean My Mac X, and Pingdom. My name is Stephen Hackett, and I'm joined by Mike Hurley.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
I'm good. We're also joined by Federico Vitici.
Hey, guys. Hi.
Hello.
We've got a big show today.
We have a lot of good stuff. Are y'all big Halloween people?
No.
Well, I wasn't one until I discovered the joy of dressing up my dogs.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
What do you do? I don't think I've seen any evidence of this.
No, I shared pictures. Well, we didn't do it last year because we were in lockdown again and we were very bummed about it. But a couple of years ago, we dressed up Zelda as a pumpkin and Ginger as the devil, and that was incredibly funny.
What Ginger? How did Ginger do to deserve that?
I was like a handmade costume that Sylvia made. It was incredible. Honestly incredible.
No, but like, why does Zelda get pumpkin? Ginger is the devil.
The devil.
Because she strikes me as like a very elegant devil.
Okay.
We believe that Ginger is the more sort of stylish and elegant dog, whereas Zelda is more of the likes to play rough,
Right.
kind of, she's messy and so that's
So
why
she
we
belongs
went
in the
for
dirt, hence pumpkin.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. She's more like, and she's kind of. Yeah, she strikes me as a pumpkin, whereas Ginger was like, yes, you can be a fancy devil. And we were crying. It was just so funny.
Fancy
And
devil.
Ideally, we would like to dress them up again.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to get one of those skeleton dog costumes for Ginger. And I think she that's gonna be incredible if we find it. And maybe Zelda, we can dress up as a spider or something. I don't know. We'll see. You should look into spider costumes for dogs. They are incredible.
I'm not going to look.
I don't want to do that.
Stephen, are you a Halloween person?
No, but I have children, so I have to fake it
So you
every
have
year.
to be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So what we're saying is this is the spooky episode.
Josiah's just wearing the Pikachu outfit from the podcast-a-thon. That's his Halloween.
Wait, is that fit him?
It's a little big, but it's close. He's getting tall.
fair
He's
enough.
almost as tall as
Fair
Mary.
enough. No way.
Mm-hmm.
Too long.
Okay, so we have some follow-up. Steve had a suggestion. What was the suggestion, Mike?
That the trophy changing that will occur now at the end of every Ricky's, where we have to adapt our trophies to potentially correct the who is now the annual or keynote chairman, could be called the closing ceremonies of the Ricky's, and I endorse this, and I would like to put it to the group.
Obviously, yes, this is a good idea.
Yeah, I like
Okay,
it. I like
great.
it.
So maybe we can add this in as a potential amendment now, because this isn't
Yes.
how it works. We're not doing the Ricky's, so we can't.
Right.
And we actually might have another amendment that we might want to add in a minute, but there is this can now be put forward as an amendment for a future Ricky's discussion that the final trophy changing will be the closing ceremonies.
Currently, there are 5 pending comments in that part of the Google Doc to deal with.
Let's just do this now. So there could also be a secondary sub-amendment to this amendment because of magtricky.com. Do you want to tell people what magtricky.com is, Stephen?
I do want to talk about magtricky.com.
Magtricky.
Our trophies are amazing. They make us feel good. They bring joy. I mean, I'm not currently on it, so it makes me a little sad, but it makes me happy for my friends. We have decided that everyone should be able to take part in tracking the Ricky winners.
The closing ceremonies.
The closing ceremonies.
Yes.
So if you go to magtricky.com, this is a site that we have put together in the last week because this was an idea that happened after the show on Wednesday.
Yep.
And now it's a product. MagTricky is a magnetic winner, a magnetic chairman tracker. So it's a kit. It's a kit. You get a 4-inch magnet that is the connected globe artwork. And you also get 3 smaller, very strong magnets, 2 silver ones and 1 gold one. And you can use those to keep up with who the current chairmen are. So, for example, right now, Mike is the annual winner and Federico is the event winner. So you would have a silver magnet where the lines cross over London and one where the lines cross over Rome. If you are just now realizing that the lines intersect over the cities where we live, that's the Easter egg in the artwork that sometimes we get tweets about. Yep. Like, oh, I just realized it. We're playing into this. But let's say next April, when I am both the annual winner and the event winner after the March Apple event, then you would put the gold magnet over Memphis.
Yeah.
That's how you can keep up with who has won. Each kit also comes with 2 stickers of the Ricky artwork by our friend Lex, who does the wonderful rickies.co. We're very excited about this. Go check it out.
Magtricky.com.
Mag Tricky.
Not Mac.
Who said Mac?
Mag Tricky.
Okay, magtricky.com.
It's like MagSafe, but it's tricky. It's not safe, it's tricky. So Mag Tricky.
Magtricky.com, so you get the 1 main magnet, a set of stickers, and then the 3 smaller magnets so you can track. Mm-hmm. A Magtricky pack costs $10, and pre-orders are going from now until November 11th. Orders will ship by the end of the month from Steven's very own pod cabin. For some reason, unbeknownst to anybody on this show, except maybe Steven chose to do the fulfillment for this project.
Look,
he's got a thing for packages, man. You know,
I think he does.
Just likes
I have all this stuff.
He likes to do it.
I have all this stuff. I will say, though, it does require a little bit of special shipping because the post office is very specific about mailing magnets. And the reason is they use metal machines to sort mail. And so if your package gets sucked to the side of the metal thing it's in.
That was very good.
Wait, what's
effects.
that sound?
Was that you?
What's that like?
Yeah, it's like a magnet.
What?
Whoa, how are you doing
like
that?
Sucking air in and then clapping my hands.
Oh, it's so good.
Have you ever thought about doing sound effects for like movies or TV shows instead of podcasts?
I should. I really should do that. Yeah. Maybe, if it really ever goes under, I can do that.
You got to create a sizzle reel, if you're just making loads of different sounds.
Yeah.
So we have to ship them in small boxes. I tested this thoroughly. I shipped things to myself. I got a note from the post office about it. It's very complicated. So we have to ship them in little boxes. So unfortunately, the shipping is more expensive than we would like. I apologize for that. It's it's the only way to get these out. So I know it's a little bit of a bummer, but we did what we could. So magtricky.com.
Once you need to start shipping something in a box, so then it's thick enough that the magnets won't stick to something that's magnetic, you start hitting some flat rates. I know, look, hey, me and Federico live outside of the United States of America. So if you live outside the United States of America and you say this is so expensive to ship to you outside the United States of America, we paid it too, all right? We're all in this together. If you want a Magtricky and you want to be really super cool and track us with the magnets, pay the shipping price. If you don't want to, you also don't have to.
Or, you could fly to Memphis and Steven will hand deliver them to you in person.
That will also is a service that we provide.
That is quite the promise.
Yeah, it's the VIP level treatment,
I love logistics so much, That's quite a logistical challenge that you have to deal with.
I guess so. So Magtricky, you have until November 11th to pre-order, and they will be shipping in December.
Magtricky.com.
Magtricky.com. We're very excited about this.
As you can tell. So iOS 15.1 came out, right? It shipped with a toggle for the macro mode thing. And everyone that I've seen report on this, including our friend Federico, just says hey, they changed the macro thing so it doesn't automatically switch anymore. And that's what we believed was going to happen. Great news. I tested this. It doesn't do the same macro stuff. And I want to talk about this on the show to see if I'm doing something wrong here or if everybody else is experiencing this. Because everywhere that I've read is just hey, they've changed the automatic macro mode switching, so now it won't do that. And all you have to do is switch to the ultra wide camera and you can take macro photos. But if you do this and compare them side by side, One looks like it's just a really close ultra-wide photo, and the other, with the automatic switching, looks like a macro thing. So like they're doing some kind of cropping and something with the automatic switching that I don't think they're doing if you turn off the automatic switching. So like I feel like I'm losing my mind here because why is nobody talking about this?
Yeah, I feel like it's very confusing the way that the toggle is phrased. And I think it's also confusing because, at least in my experience, you can manually switch to the ultra wide, get close to the subject, and it will focus on the subject. But to your point, I think you're right. The difference is the auto cropping, because you still get the edge distortion from the ultra wide lens if you use this manual mode, but you are able to focus on a very close subject. Like I just did it again now. The camera, if I disable auto macro mode, open the camera app, switch to the ultra wide, get close to this remote in front of me, it can focus on the buttons of the remote, but I do see the distortion at the edges of the viewfinder, because I think you're right. You can make it work and sort of fake your way around macro mode, but you get the weirdness of the lens distortion. Now, I don't understand why there can't just be like a section or a button in the camera app that says macro, and you open it. Like in my mind, what should happen here is if you disable auto macro mode and you want to use macro photography still, you get a button or you get a section inside of the camera app. Otherwise, if I disable auto macro, what am I supposed to do? Like if I disable auto macro, Apple is telling me, hey, do you want to disable this setting that automatically switches lenses for you? And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to have an automatic switch. I want to do it manual. Okay, great. I disabled the switch. And now Apple it seems to tell you, oh, well, now you're on your own if you disable that switch. Yeah. We're not going to give you any button or any explanation whatsoever in the camera app. That's very confusing.
So I just sent you two pictures, and I'll put these in the show notes. So this is of my wonderful stuffed Ricky that we got as a beautiful gift. The camera is from the exact same distance. The one on the left, or like the first image, is with like in ultra wide with the auto macro toggle off, right, and focused on what's going on, like a tap to focus. And then the one on the right is with the automatic macro mode switching thing.
They're cropping it.
But they're cropping it. They're also doing, I think, something like they're doing, I don't know, some of their like sharpening or whatever they do, And it's like it's vastly different. It's like it might as well just be a completely different setting. Like this isn't what I think people thought it was going to be, which is you'll still get the same results. All you have to do is just you'll get the same results, but now you just have to go into the ultra wide. Like they're completely different. And so I would like an actual proper toggle or something for this, because right now we don't have that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope that in the just released 15.2 beta, there will be more changes for macro photography, because they thought they fixed the problem and they really didn't. At this point, the camera app is so full of buttons, I don't understand why just add another one. I mean, you already have a problem going on with all those UI elements in the camera app. Adding another button for your major new feature on the 13 Pro, what's the big deal? Mm-hmm. Given all the other icons that you already have, I mean, just one more,
What's one more?
I mean, we talked, yeah.
I think what this feature actually does is what it says it does, but it's not what people thought it was going to do. What it does is it stops the macro switching, but that also turns, it just disables that feature in the way that it has been implemented otherwise.
All right, this episode of Connected is brought to you by Trade. Does your at-home coffee just not live up to your expectations? Trade can change that, because their goal is to make every cup of coffee your best ever. The journey to your perfect cup starts with taking their coffee quiz. Whether you use a French press, automatic drip, or if you're one of those fancy cold brew people, Your answers will allow Trade to pair you with the perfect coffee to fit your tastes. Trade will match you to coffees that you'll love from over 400 craft coffees, and they send you a freshly roasted bag as often as you'd like. Trade guarantees you'll love your first match, but on the off chance you don't, they'll replace it with a different bag for free. And give feedback as you sip. As your preferences evolve, your coffee matches will too. Plus, you can feel good about each cup since Trade partners with over 55 small US-based roasters who are committed to ethical and sustainable sourcing. Mike, you've got some Trade coffee. How has it been?
Oh, lovely. We got a bag of coffee from a roastery called Madcap Coffee. And the bag, like, it had like a label on it like you'd get in clothing, like a cloth label, which is very nice. The packaging was very nice. And it was called Gasharu, and it was a Rwandan coffee. It was fantastic. Like, the packaging was lovely, but the coffee was even lovelier. We got through that bag incredibly fast. This was really, really great stuff. And this is like exactly why I recommend people sign up for Trade, because they have access to all of these different roasteries and all of these different types of coffee, and then they can pick what's best and send it to you. So you get all of the best stuff without having to do any of the legwork, which I really love when I love those kind of situations. I just want all of the best things without having to put any of the work in, and that's what Trade do.
Yeah, I love that it's sustainable and working with small businesses. That is really cool.
That's very important in coffee, because like really, like you want to look for that kind of stuff, because the coffee trade can be a bad one. So you want to try and find you want to find places that offer that kind of protection for the people growing and dealing with the coffee.
For Connected listeners, right now, Trade is offering your first bag free and $5 off your bundle at checkout. To get yours, go to drinktrade.com/connected, and you want to use the promo code CONNECTED at checkout. Go take the quiz to start your journey to the perfect cup of coffee. That's drinktrade.com/connected, promo code CONNECTED for your first bag free and $5 off your bundle. Enjoy. Our thanks to Trade for their support of the show and Relay FM. We now have a bunch of tiny topics to deal with. Can I talk about AirTags?
Please.
AirTags have been out since the spring, I think 6, 7, 8 months, something like that. Apple has said that the battery should last about a year. You know, they're the little coin batteries. I forget the number that they are. CR3032, I think.
Something. Just number 4.
Number 4. Battery number 4.
Yeah, number 4 battery.
Number 4 battery. And I have had my first one die on me. So the other morning I woke up and I had a Find My notification saying, hey, the AirTag assigned to your keys, the battery is getting ready to go. And by the afternoon, it was totally dead. I would have expected...
Wow, then you get no time.
I would have expected a little more warning on that.
Wow.
You know? I don't have those batteries laying around, so I went and bought a little pack of them at the drugstore. But the one in my backpack is still like 80%. The one I keep in my truck is still 100%. So I don't know like what happened with this AirTag, or maybe because it's on my keys, like it's just more active. I don't really know. I'm very curious, you know, if y'all have your phones handy to see how your batteries are doing on your AirTags. And I want to hear from people if you're having a rapid AirTag battery death. I put a new battery in it. It seems fine. I'm going to keep an eye on it. If this next one drains fast, maybe this AirTag is a little bit...
How do you check the... there's an icon.
You go to items and like click each one of them, and you get a little battery.
It doesn't give you a number. It just gives you an icon. So I just sort of...
Mine are all full.
They're all full. Have you left the AirTags even like in the cold, for example, or like
I don't think so. I would have figured the one in my truck would have been, if any of them were going to die because of environmental factors, that one, right? Because the truck just gets parked in the sun all the time. But I don't know. People in the Discord are like, yeah, all of mine are totally fine. So maybe I just had a
seems
weird...
like you got a dud battery or a dud AirTag. Like
maybe.
One of the two.
Maybe you have a curse.
Wow.
That
escalated
could be an
quickly.
Explanation. Could be an explanation.
Actually could be a really, really good explanation. Maybe you are cursed. Did you consider that? I feel like you should have considered that. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of, honestly, it's kind of disrespectful that you came to this episode with this problem without actually considering if you had a curse.
Maybe
first.
you have like a lithium curse on you.
Maybe you like just suck the lithium out of the battery. Did you consider that? Like, it is the one that's closest to you most of the time. Like, it's in your pocket.
Yeah, you're like a Metroid, but for lithium batteries. You suck the energy out of them.
Just take it, and
like,
now you're more lithium than man. What is? Oh, hang on a second. What is your battery health on your phone?
Well, my phone's brand new.
Go
I
check.
want to see what your
check.
battery health is. Go take a look at your
Let's see.
battery health. I want to see if maybe you've sucked the lithium out of your phone too.
Let's see, settings, battery health. Yeah, it's 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
This phone is like
now.
2 weeks old. It better be.
Mine's
100%.
110%, so you've got 10% less because you took the lithium right out of it.
Maybe.
Maybe you're taking the lithium out of the AirTag and putting it into the phone.
So I put a new battery in it, and if it dies again quickly, I'll chalk it up to like a bum AirTag, I guess. And then maybe I do like try to get Apple to replace an AirTag. Like, what would that be like?
Apple totally got me, by the way. I haven't spoken about this, but they've got me so bad with the AirTags.
You just have like dozens of them?
I've bought 12 of them now.
That's a lot of AirTags. What are you tagging?
Bags. So okay. If I buy them, I buy packs of 4, right? Because you're going to find something to do with them eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I have 4, and Adina has 4, and now I have bought another 4 to put on to my suitcase, like one on each of our main suitcases, because we've not used those, but we're hopefully going to use those in like a month, right? Because I don't want to be changing them over because they're named, right? So like I don't want one which is like, oh, I've got this tag on my backpack, right? And then take that tag and put it on my suitcase. And I got to rename it every time because I'm going to get confused, right? So I now just have like, well, I was going to say 1 million. I don't have 1 million. I have exactly 12 AirTags. It's a good product.
Yeah, it really is.
That's a very good product. Like I like when like I've got my bag, like I put it somewhere, I leave and it's like, hey, you forgot your bag. I will say that feature, the left behind feature, very unreliable for AirPods. Like I have my AirPods in my pocket and I think I just saw Emma talking about this in the Discord. And it's like, hey, you forgot your AirPods. It's like, and I'm like, I'm like, no, I haven't. I don't know why it keeps telling me this. It keeps telling me I forgot my AirPods Pro. But the thing, I like it, right? It's like, hey, you left your bag here. Like, it's just, I like that feature works. It works very reliably. So at the time when I do actually forget my bag, it's not that it's purposely been left somewhere. I'll really appreciate it.
Anchor has some fancy new things.
I've come back to the show with a whole list of MagSafe products. It is weird that I'm the one who keeps bringing all these MagSafe products to the show, but yet I own none of them.
Yeah, because you're afraid of wireless charging.
Maybe because subconsciously you are craving the MagSafe lifestyle, but now you put up this persona that you're like you hate magnets.
Well, let me tell you something. So I got my new phone, right? And I got a pop socket for it, as I want to do. And the pop socket wasn't sticking for like a day. It just kept falling off. And I was like, it's come for me. Because people write into me and they're like, how do you get the pop socket to work? It's like, just stick it to the phone. Like, no, it's impossible. And pop sockets say do not stick them to the phones because it won't work. So I was like, my luck has run out. So I ordered one of the MagSafe ones. Mm-hmm. But then my pop socket fixed itself and it actually now sticks. So I do have a MagSafe pop socket now. So I could, if I ever wanted to, actually move over to that thing and make it, my lifestyle. But nevertheless, I'm not here to talk about that today. I'm here to talk about MagGo. It's not as good as MagTricky. MagGo, which is Anker's new line of products. They have a whole selection of them. I want to talk to you about 3 of these today.
Okay.
They have the battery stand, which is a battery pack. Now, of course, all of these things, it's worth saying, it's not actually official MagSafe. It charges at the slow speeds, right? All of these things charge at the 7.5 watt slow speed, right? This is a battery pack, like the MagSafe battery pack that has a fold-out stand on the back of it, so you can have it on your phone and you can prop your phone up.
So what they've done is they've taken MagSafe and then they took Federico's idea of kickstands and just merged them together.
Exactly. So they have that. That's product 1. Then they have this other product, which is like a phone mount and battery pack. So it's one of the battery packs that you slide into this little mount so you can, like, I don't know, dock your phone, right? So you put it up in your phone, you know, like your little stand, you put it on your desk or whatever. But you can also, anytime you want, take that thing out of there and your phone's all ready to go. And it also has a Qi charger in the base for your AirPods Pro. So now it's like, it's a phone docking station. It's a battery pack, you know? Are you getting it? It's all of those things in one. But the big one, the one that everyone's talking about, the one that people in the MagSafe forums they're just going wild for this week.
Why is everybody talking about this?
Because people like it, and this does look like a genuinely very cool product. It's called the Charging Station. It is a ball, looks like a Nexus Q. It's a little ball.
Oh, good pull.
And it's, anytime. It's got a MagSafe charger on one side. On the other side, 2 USB-C chargers, 2 USB-A chargers, and 3 AC outlets. So it sits on your desk, can power everything you own, all in one little ball for $100.
I like it.
Nice.
I really want that product, but at the moment, I think they only have it available in America, so it's not as helpful for me.
Well, order a Mac Tricky and I'll just stuff it in a tiny box for you.
But then I can't plug anything into it, can I?
That's fine.
Right.
When I bought my new desk, I got Foley's clamp-mounted surge protector. I'll put a link in the show notes now. Mm-hmm. And it's really great to have outlets, and this has USB-A and C is power delivery, just like at your desk surface, so you don't have to like fish around on the floor. It's really nice. I like having power just available, you know?
Mm-hmm. This one looks even nicer.
Yeah, no, had this thing been out, I would have done this instead of the Foley thing, I think, but you know.
Well, you could still do this.
I could do
you
both.
could have all the power.
I could do both. I like that it's a ball.
I don't think this has a lithium battery in it, so you'd probably be okay.
Yeah,
that's good.
Fine.
I also have some pretty important news. We're going to get distinguished for a second.
Oh.
Okay.
This is like distinguished stuff for like only the most distinguished of Apple fan.
Okay.
I have here an Apple polishing cloth.
Okay.
In the
Wow.
box, unopened.
Whoa.
I guess one question that I now realize, do I just not open this and it become a collector's item? Or do I open it? Now, I do have a bit of I don't remember if I said this on the show. I have a confession to make about the Apple polishing cloth.
Mm-hmm.
I bought it. I just bought it. I saw it in the store. Like, you know, I bought my MacBook Pro. I was rushing to order my MacBook Pro last week. And they were like, hey, do you want this polishing cloth? And I immediately thought, yes, I do. This was before it became like a funny thing to own it. Just my brain was like, yes, I want this.
I think it's adorable that all y'all are excited about this. As someone who has had one for months and months and months.
Did you get a review unit?
Well, you know, I can't really talk about where it came from. No, it comes with the Pro Display XDR.
Is it the same one with the Apple logo on it?
Uh-huh. Yeah, let me get it.
Well, how am I going to know it's the same one?
I got to get it out of its case. Hang on.
You have it in a special like Perspex box or something?
Yeah, so it's gray. It has the Apple logo sort of debossed into one corner of it, a little Apple logo.
So I now have one of these.
Okay.
Do I open it on the show or do I keep it in the box forever?
You should open it.
You need to think about your retirement and, you know, any future possible children, you know, that could benefit from the investment of leaving it in the box.
I'm touching mine now. I'm using mine right now.
Yeah, me too.
To clean the display in front of me. And here.
It does feel like maybe not like a really good idea to invest like in a Mac collection or like an Apple Focus collection.
Really?
I don't know. That feels like irresponsible. So I should probably open it.
You know, it's weird. My financial advisor says something similar, but what does he know?
None of these people know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
All right, are you ready? I'm going to open it. There's a little pull tab to see if we can get some ASMR action.
Okay.
I don't think that was very satisfying.
Mm-mm.
So it comes in a little paper pouch. Oh, look at this. And now I take it out. Oh, it's all folded. Oh, there's another piece of card in the middle that says, safe for use on all Apple displays and surfaces. For infrequent cleaning of hard-to-remove smudges on nanotexture glass, a 70% isopropyl alcohol, IPA, which is also a beer, so maybe they're saying could also use beer on it, solution may be used.
Right, because you could have the nanotexture XDR or Intel iMac.
Yeah, so here we go. I have a cloth.
Okay.
I'll clean my microphone with it. Hold on. There you go. That wasn't an Apple product, so I probably just voided the warranty of the cloth.
Try it on your yellow iMac you're sitting in front of.
Oh, it's really grippy. I nearly pulled the iMac off the stand. This is grippier than your average microfiber cloth. So, all right, I have this now. Congratulations to me, I suppose.
Congratulations. Welcome to the club.
Big cloth boys over here.
I do love that it's become a meme. I love it so much.
Yeah, it's the best thing to happen in a while, and it's just incredible. Like how all the memes on Twitter and the jokes are. It's the perfect product to have some fun, poke some fun, some lighthearted fun at Apple right now because they made a cloth. I love it.
It's like very reminiscent of the book, right?
Yeah, I don't know who would have bought that.
The picture book.
But even more because it's such a it's like a functional thing. Like it's a piece of cloth. Nobody usually has opinions about a polishing cloth, and here we are talking about it, and it's so lovingly ridiculous. I love it. The fact that we're even discussing a polishing cloth is just perfect. It's peak 2021, really.
I'm having good fun now polishing everything I own. It's all getting polished now.
Wow, its delivery date is pushed to January 11th through the 25th. That is amazing.
That might be a bit much, huh? I'm cleaning everything now, though. It's all getting cleaned over here.
Yeah, looking at pictures, this is exactly what I have. This episode of Connected is made possible by Clean My Mac X. You want to be able to rely on your computer. It should be in good enough shape to get you to your goals. It should be fast and organized and make working on it a dream, but that's not always the case. If you're a Mac user, you should use Clean My Mac X from MacPaw. They're diligent Mac developers and Mac collectors who many in our community trust, and Clean My Mac X is an ideal decluttering app for macOS. It is a whole bunch of stuff, and it has 49 tools to find and delete visible computer junk. It helps tune up your Mac so it runs at maximum speed. You can use it to organize disk space, showing you large hidden folders. That random project folder you forgot about that's taking up 12 gigs. It'll help you find it. Plus, you can free up all that free space and never get those dreaded low disk space warnings again. And it fights Mac-specific malware and adware and protects your computer. Clean My Mac X is notarized, so it's been checked for security by Apple, and it really stands out on design. It is a joy to use. I love the animation and the colors in it. It is really great, and you'll always be discovering new ways to optimize your Mac. It even will remind you, if you want it to run it periodically. So get Clean My Mac X today with 5% off at macpaw.app/connected. This discount is valid for just 2 weeks, so go to macpaw.app/connected for 5% off. Our thanks to Clean My Mac X for their support of the show and Relay FM.
I like that we just spoke about two things back to back that can clean my Mac.
Oh, it's true.
Wow. Okay.
I'm going to leave the show now.
Oh,
forever.
Because of that?
Yeah.
Let's start with AirPods 3. So these are the new AirPods. The AirPods 2 are still for sale, so the 3 kind of takes the middle spot in the lineup. They, of course, look like AirPods Pro with the shorter stems and the gestures, the little squeezy thing. It's not really a gesture. What would you call that? Little squeeze mechanism. I don't know what to call that. I don't know what to think about these. Federico, what do you think?
I like them personally. I think they are a better fit for me compared to the AirPods 2. I believe because they're slightly bigger, like the shape of the AirPod itself that goes in ear is bigger than the AirPods 2. And for me, that creates a slightly better seal, which results in, again, slightly better sound quality. Now, it doesn't provide any sort of isolation from outside noise, and like you can hear sort of everything around you.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the smaller case than the AirPods Pro. I like that it's MagSafe, so it attaches to the MagSafe portion of the stand that I have, and there's like this AirPod case sort of floating on it, which is kind of funny. And I like the squeeze gestures myself. Like, they're consistent with the AirPods Pro. They don't have the same like bass, for example, because like those are in-ear earbuds, and they create a much better seal, especially if you're using memory foam tips. So you don't have the same bass as the AirPods Pro, but it's a good approximation of that, and the shape works for me. I like them. However, I will bring to the show an opinion, which is Sylvia's opinion. Like, her first reaction was, oh, these are bigger than the AirPods 2. I don't like them. They hurt my ears compared to the AirPods 2. And I have to wonder if, this is a factor that Apple considered in leaving the AirPods 2 also for sale with a price cut. Because these are, like, when you do a side-by-side comparison, you see it immediately. These are bigger than the AirPods 2, and you have to believe that they're not going to fit some people's ears just as well as the older AirPods did.
I think I'm Team Sylvia on this. Regular AirPods fit me pretty well. Some people have trouble with them falling out. I don't. And these, they're a little bit bigger, but they're rounder, I think. I feel like front to back is where the size difference is. And they fit in my ears, but I noticed yesterday I wore them during a workout, and I noticed in my ear, like, I was just very aware of it the whole time. I'm going to give them a few more days, but at this point, if I decide to send them back, I think I would... I'd decide to send them back, which makes me really glad they kept the AirPods 2 around, so I could still have AirPods that fit. But this is the problem, with something that's not customizable, right? These are either going to fit and feel comfortable, or they're not.
Exactly. Yeah. I think I'm gonna keep them myself for now as like Nintendo Switch headphones. Now that the Nintendo Switch can be paired with Bluetooth headphones, I think I'm going to use them for that. I don't want to wear like full-size headphones when I'm playing video games at night. And I don't want to unpair and manually repair my AirPods Pro back and forth between the iPhone, iPad, and the Nintendo Switch, which is a separate device. So I think I'm going to keep the regular AirPods as Nintendo Switch headphones. Right now, I am trying them as regular AirPods paired with my iPhone. I think I like, but I don't want to have this is not like my final opinion, if you will, because it's just like being 24 hours with them. I like that I don't have to worry about the in-ear tip anymore, but I feel like going forward, like this is just a novelty effect. Going forward, I know myself, and I know that I will miss the custom memory foam tips that I have for my AirPods Pro and the seal they create, and the fact that I can, even the small things, like I can vacuum clean and I don't hear the noise of the vacuum because of noise cancellation, that kind of stuff. That will not be possible with the AirPods 3. So realistically, now I'm using them because I'm testing them as real AirPods. Realistically, these are going to be my Nintendo Switch headphones.
I've had the question before, so I thought I would address it here too, about why I don't like the AirPods Pro, and it really is the rubbery fit. I just don't like that feeling of being completely sealed off like that. And I use in-ear monitors for recording. I'm wearing them right now. If you watch the podcast-a-thon, I have them in for that. But those are like custom molded, and I have the hard resin ones, so I don't even have rubber tips on these. And so they're made like perfectly for my ear. And if I take one out and look at the diameter that sits in my ear, it actually, the contour of that looks very similar to the AirPods 2 and much smaller than the AirPods 3. So we'll see how this goes. I'm glad they're options. I think this is like a really nice upgrade from the AirPods 2. Yes, you don't get the active noise cancellation you get in the Pros, but you do get something that is nicer, that seems to sound better battery life. So yeah, I think if they work for you, that's fantastic. I just don't know if they work for me, and I guess Sylvie and I have a similar ear situation going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe we're going to FaceTime and like compare ears sometime.
Yeah, that's not weird at all. You could do that.
Hello, I've returned to the show.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
I wouldn't be able to live. I mean, I'm not considering these, but like similarly to Federico, like the reason I didn't even think about them is I really like transparency and noise cancellation, so I would not be able to give that up, even though I know I would find these more comfortable because I'm not a super big fan of the in-ear thing. Like I mentioned before, the left one just tends to fall out for me, but I will accept that because I like the feature so much. But what I want to ask you, Stephen, is are you just going to give up on AirPods? Because the style that you wear is going to go away and they have moved to a style that is not for you. Are you going to start looking at other products?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's definitely a concern. The AirPods 2 are still, they remain a product in the lineup. They did get a new charging case that's compatible with MagSafe. So like maybe they're just going to stick around as the cheap ones for a long time. But I do have that worry in the back of my mind now that, oh boy, the ones that really work for me may slowly go away. I don't know. I hope not.
Maybe it's not worth thinking about for now, right? For that reason. Like, I could imagine if someone would have said this to you when you had the Apple Watch Series 3, right? You'd be laughing 25 years later when they're still selling it. Mm-hmm. So, maybe it'd be a similar thing with AirPods. And I actually do think they will probably keep around and support that version of AirPods for a long time because they will like to keep just making that cheaper and cheaper and cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, I think Apple wants AirPods to be well into the no thought territory, sort of, what's the word I'm looking for?
The impulse buy.
Impulse buy. And they're closer, but the lower they can get them, I think the better. And I think Apple just wants AirPods everywhere. So I'm hopeful that I can just stay on the cheap ones forever.
Did you buy new ones? Because your battery was dying, right? Because you sucked the lithium out of them?
I did. Also, my right one went through the washer and dryer. Before the event, I ordered a set of AirPods 2 just in case the 3s didn't work out and the 2s were gone. So I actually have a brand new set of AirPods 2 here as well. And I kind of decided like I got to pick one and send the other one back. And I think I'm going to stay with the 2s probably.
Did you notice that, Federico? Like, that's another product where the battery's just gone.
Look, honestly,
no.
I think
it
it's a
died.
Thing. Yeah, it
because
died.
It went through the washer and dryer.
No, you were having battery issues too. That's what I remember.
I mean, I was a little bit, and I was like, oh, maybe there'll be new ones at work. But then the right one definitely got murdered because it got washed and dried.
Was that the most exciting product you received this week?
Not even close.
Coming in. MacBook Pro time.
MacBook Pro time. I also got a lot of magnets in the mail.
Mine is still in China, I think.
Oh no.
It was shipment picked up in Shanghai 2 days ago, and there's been no updates on it since.
Okay.
But my delivery window was up until Tuesday of next week anyway, so we'll see.
I did see that your calendar is in the UK now, by the way.
Yeah, stop tracking my stuff, will you?
Well, you're like, I'm just, I want to see how long it takes. Mm-hmm. I did get a MacBook Pro. As spoken about last time, on my desk is a 14-inch with the M1 Pro, space gray. I got it set up last night. I used Thunderbolt to do Migration Assistant. Man, Thunderbolt is so fast when you have things that actually support it.
Are you a big migration person? Typically?
Oh, yeah, man.
You just move one to the other.
Oh, yeah. There's stuff in like my home folder on this Mac Pro that probably dates from like 2008. I mean, it goes way back. It's fun too because all my USB-C stuff is just USB-C. Like I never actually get to use Thunderbolt for anything. I don't have anything, that's that fast.
Yeah.
And so it migrated super quickly, which was really fun. So I've got it set up. I used it all morning. This morning I went out to a coffee shop and worked for a couple hours and just on the laptop.
Whoa, what year is it?
I know. It was weird.
That must have felt good.
It did. Yeah. I'm boosterized now, so I can just
That's true.
go do what I want.
That's true.
Masks are required unless you're actively eating or drinking, because there's also that. And it's still spaced out. They have like every other table taken out of the shop.
Don't get confused and accidentally smash a muffin into your mask.
Pour coffee down my face. So I have some thoughts. I don't know what order y'all want to go in, or if you want to ask questions or how we want to do this. But
why don't we start with size and design?
Let's start with size and design.
It's written. I don't know why you ask what order. You've written an order in our document. Why not just go in that order?
Well, I don't know. Maybe you wanted to maybe you thought the display was more important than size and design.
Can I have your conclusion first, please?
It's a fantastic laptop. The best
Excellent.
Apple's made in a long time.
I'm too jealous of you right
What
now.
did Gray say? I was listening to Cortex this morning. It was like it's from like the angels of heaven or something.
Yeah, it's a computer given down from the angels of heaven. He doesn't even have one yet because we recorded it a few days ago, but that's how excited he is.
So you do notice the thickness right away, but here's the thing. The 14-inch is the same thickness as the old 13-inch it replaces. It's just a boxier design. So if you look at the outgoing MacBook Pro model, I guess it's not outgoing because you can still buy the 13-inch. The display is tapered, so that it pulls the same trick as the old Intel iMacs do, where it's like thick in the back and then thinner at the edges. A little junk in the iMac trunk. And with this MacBook Pro, like it's just boxy and flat. Clearly they have to like fit a display in here. With all the fancy mini LED and everything that it has, but it makes it appear thicker than it actually is. But it's actually the same thickness going from the 13 to the 14. Now, the new 16-inch is slightly thicker than the Intel 16, 0.66 inches, 0.64. I don't have any 16-inch machines here, so I can't speak to that, but it does feel and look thicker than it actually is. But I think that's all down to the boxiness. The feet, like in Apple's product imagery, it's like, oh my gosh, this thing is on stilts. In practice, the feet, like it looks just like the other MacBook Pros in terms of height off the desk. Like it doesn't feel like they're up on casters or, big stands or anything.
Who would put a computer on casters? Am I right?
Who would put a computer on wheels?
That seems silly.
Mine's not on wheels anymore. Kind of makes me sad. I had to put feet back on it.
You should put it up, right? You put it
yeah,
up
because it's on like a side
thing.
table. Yeah.
You should have built chocks for it.
That made me really nervous.
Just hope for no earthquake.
Yeah. I will say this. If you get one of these 14 inches, and it may be true for the 16 as well, and the bag you use is like pretty form-fitting, that may be a deal, like something you have to deal with. So I use the Tom Ben Cynic 22, the little one, and it's made for a 13-inch laptop. This machine fits in there, but I have to like scrape the edge of the computer right past the zipper. So it's very tight. So I think I'm probably going to move. I have the bigger Cynic as well. I'm probably going to go back to that. So
I thought you were going to do your favorite thing in the world.
And buy a bag.
Bag shopping, yeah.
I do love bag shopping.
You love bag shopping.
But I have a bigger Cynic that I probably will end up using. So just keep that in mind. Like if you have like a sleeve or something, that may be maybe something you have to think about. Like I said, the feet aren't a big deal at all. You don't notice them when you're working on the machine. A couple things about like the top half of the computer. Like I said, the lid is perfectly even in terms of depth. It gives it this boxy look that I love the way this thing looks. The Apple logo is bigger than the previous 13-inch by like a noticeable amount. Like I opened, I was like, oh, I'm made by Apple. It was like,
why
okay.
would they do that?
I don't know.
That's such a strange thing to do.
I don't know. I usually end up with a single sticker on the back of my laptops in the center to cover the Apple logo. I'm sure I'll do the same this time. And MacBook Pro is not on the lower bezel, which I like. I like that it's gone again. It's come and gone over the years. But it's etched into the aluminum on the bottom. Mm-hmm. And I thought it looked cool in the keynote, but I was a little afraid that it would look cheesy in person. But it looks so cool. And like no one will ever see it unless you're carrying the laptop around, but it looks cool.
That's going to pick up some nice lint and gunk over time.
Probably.
Up in the bottom there. It's nice.
Mm-hmm. The other things in terms of size and design, I guess, the keyboard being set in the black keyboard well, which is double anodized, so it should not wear off over time. It looks super cool. Now I got the space gray. I kind of wish I had done the silver because I think the contrast would look better with the silver. But even on the space gray, like the black keyboard well and the black keys look really sharp. I mean, this machine, like it's instantly recognizable as a MacBook Pro, but also like everything is different from previous ones, and it's kind of a neat effect. And I think the coolest looking thing about the keyboard is Touch ID previously on the MacBook Pro was like a black glass little square, like round rect you would press. And on these, it's like it is on the keyboards, like the one, Mike, you've taped to the underside of your desk, where it's a key and has a Touch ID ring in it. That's the first time it's been on the MacBook Pro, and it's in black with a black ring, and it just looks super cool and stealthy. And
yeah, see, that's cool because the iMac ones, I think, have a silver ring, so they didn't color match the ring. Talking about color matching, though, actually, why is the MagSafe silver?
I know, it should have been space gray.
Like, they just made a computer and, like, color matched to 5 colors, right? Or 6 colors or whatever on the iMacs. Yeah. Every single cable is, like, anodized and color matched. They only had to do 2, you know? Come on.
More color inconsistencies from Apple lately.
Yeah. I bet they give it a different name, too. I bet it's, like, Mag Green. It's actually green. Like, if you look at it under a specific render, it will look really green. But when you get it in front of you, it just looks silver, like all of Apple's colors.
Yeah.
On Pro products.
I do kind of wish it was color match. That would have been a nice touch. Again, maybe this predates the new color stuff. Like, I think what we'll really see is if the MacBook Air gets the iMac colors, which is, I think, rumored now, those should definitely be color matched. And hopefully they could do that here as well. Maybe they'll end up with a space gray one for sale down the road. You know, sometimes Apple does that. They'll mix up the finishes on their accessories. And so maybe in the future you could get a space gray MagSafe cable. I think that'd be sick. Man, y'all, having MagSafe, like, I got this thing out of the box, you know, got my Thunderbolt cable out, had it on my table in my studio, and I just clicked in the MagSafe, and it was the most memory intensive thing I've had with a computer in a long time.
Yeah, the sense memory.
Yeah.
It was
great.
If this is a TV show, the camera would have zoomed into your eye, you know?
Oh,
it would
yeah.
have gone into, like, something in the past.
And you see a little
had,
tear
like,
in the corner. Oh, magnets. It's not a tricky magnet. And it is, I mean, obviously, like, it's thinner. MagSafe 3 is a different layout than MagSafe 1 and 2 on the Macs were, but it feels and sounds just the way you remember it. It's so good. I'm so glad it's back. I actually have bought a second MagSafe cable because I want to keep one at my desk and one in my bag. It is also cool, though, that you can still charge via USB-C. So where I'm shipping everything on the table that's set up, I have a little dongle for multiple USB because I have the printer and the scale and everything. And then I have a USB-C power cable. And so I could just took this laptop and sat it down where the old one had been sitting for shipping last night, and it was great. It was like, oh yeah, this, like, they didn't sacrifice that, but the MagSafe is really cool. If you have used a machine with that before in the past, this is going to feel very familiar to you and very good. We'll talk about the display. That's next.
Yeah, did you just immediately disable the coolest feature? Or?
No, I tried the 120 hertz for a while. I actually didn't notice it as immediately as I do on iOS. And I was talking to Jason and Underscore earlier today for an episode of Fusion that'll come out this evening or tomorrow or sometime soon.
That's a Relay FM member show, by the way. If you go to getconnectedpro.co, not only do you get longer ad-free episodes of Connected every week, you also get access to some other member content like Fusion, which is a monthly podcast featuring a rotating panel of Relay FM hosts talking about a specific topic.
Jason and David kind of put their finger on it for me. Like, not all apps support it. And
that's why. Yeah, it was fine for you because it wasn't
like,
working.
Oh yeah, because I'm like in Todoist and Chrome, and but then I went over to Photos. I was like, oh my gosh, everything is moving so quickly. So yes, I lasted a couple of hours, and I was like, okay, yeah, I can't do this, but that's okay. It is really nice. What I was hoping for, and what is not present, as far as I can tell, is the thing that's on iOS where you cap the ProMotion at 60, but it can still go down to slower refresh rates. With the MacBook Pro, you just lock it. You can't say, like, in accessibility, there's not an option to say cap it at 60. I wish there was, because I feel like
that could affect your battery life.
Yes, that's what I'm a little worried about. And I feel like on my phone and iPad, my battery life situation isn't really affected by it because it can go down, but I don't allow it to go higher than 60. maybe it's an implementation issue, but I would really like to see that as an accessibility option so I don't feel penalized in the battery department. Whether that makes a big difference or not in practice, like it's way too soon to know, right? These machines have been out for 2 days, but I just like had the thought in the back of my mind. It's like, oh, this label might as well say, kill your battery. It's a bit of a bummer there, to be honest. The 14-inch size is just perfect. It is definitely bigger than the 13 in terms of real estate. Physically, it's not much bigger, but the 14-inch is just, it's a great size for a notebook. You know, it's a secondary machine for me. If I was working on it and just on it, I may want the 16, but I really like this like Goldilocks in between size. And I'm so glad. I mean, this has been rumored for years, and I'm so glad that it ended up shipping as a 14.2 inch panel, because the difference between that and the 13 is noticeable.
It feels bigger, right? Like you notice it.
Yeah, and because I migrated, like it remembers things like how tall your Todoist window was, and I have that always on the left side. And it's like, oh, there's a bunch of space here at the bottom. I can just make this a little taller if I want to. And so it definitely gives you some more breathing room. And the mini LED really does look, I mean, it looks spectacular. Like if you go into a video, play a video, and you got the black bars at the top and bottom, they are just dark black. And the blooming that you get sometimes on the iPad Pro, which I haven't seen because I don't have a 12.9 inch iPad Pro, but I've seen images of it, you know, people talking about it. And I really don't seem to notice any blooming on this. You know, where you have like a bright, like if you start it up and you have like the silver or white Apple logo on a black screen, even on my Pro Display XDR, there's a glow around that Apple logo a little bit because they don't have as many dimming zones on the Pro Display XDR as this thing. But they seem to have addressed that somehow. And the screen looks, I mean, it just looks really, really nice.
I have a question for you. What do you use your laptop for? Like what are you going to use this
Good
for?
question.
Because you have a big old $1 million computer, right? Like that what are you using the laptop for?
So, I mean, obviously anytime I'm working not at my desk. And so there's a lot of times throughout the year when it's nice outside that I want to work in the yard, or, you know, if I'm working inside or like at a coffee shop or something where I want to work on a Mac. I don't really work on an iPad at all anymore. And not that I ever did really, but it's definitely just fallen off. And so anytime that I'm working away from this desk, I'm on a laptop. And when we used to travel, it was a production machine, you know, recording, editing, streaming. And this machine will fulfill that again. I'm hopeful that next year we'll be out on the road some. But, you know, for me, it is a secondary machine. Like today, you know, was out this morning, and then I recorded Fusion, and now I'm doing Connected, and I got to edit both of those this afternoon. Like it will just be asleep, you know, on the side table somewhere because I'm going to use the Mac Pro. But anytime I'm away from it, now even if I'm just in the house and I have something to do that's, you know, more than just looking at Slack or Discord, I reach for a laptop.
Does your laptop mostly live in the house, or does it mostly live in the studio and you go get it? Like,
I keep it in the studio, but it will often go into the house if I feel like I've got something that evening that I need to do. Of course, right now is a little bit different too because I am doing the fulfillment stuff, and so I'm using it more out here because I don't have that stuff hooked up to my desktop. But we'll see. In the before times, before all the shipping stuff took place, I would usually keep it in my backpack actually, so I could just easily take it in or out. It's very good. The other thing about the display that I've just realized looking at it, do you remember when they first laminated the iPad display and it felt like, oh my gosh, these pixels are on the glass? There's a little bit of that going on with this laptop. It's not that exact change, but there's something, maybe it's the smaller bezels. It really seems like these pixels are like really close to you in a way that is very nice. The image seems very on top of the glass, if you will.
Okay, fair enough. Makes sense.
The notch is totally fine.
Okay.
There's definitely some weirdness with it. Our friend Quinn Nelson is all over the news right now because he made this video that went viral about complaining about the notch. I texted him this morning, like, how are your mentions?
I couldn't tell if he was being serious or not.
It's hard to tell with Quinn. You know?
I think it's like the mystique, right? That's like the Quinn Nelson mystique. I couldn't tell. Like, I think at first it wasn't serious.
He does have
and then
a
it
mystique
became
about
serious.
him.
Yeah. I could not tell if he was being for real or not. But maybe that's part of it.
Look, the guy's just like walking, talking clickbait, I guess.
That's true, I guess. It's like he has really sucked in what it is to be a YouTuber.
I should say there's already an episode linked in the show notes because you mentioned the Nexus Q, but our podcast is back. Flashback, back for season 3. Started last week. We're talking about the IBM PC.
Relay.fm/flashback.
Do it. That's a really hard thing to say. Relay.fm slash flashback.
Splash flash. Relay.fm flashback.
Splashback.
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 Splash flash.
Splash flash.
Relay.fm splash flash mesh. I'm back.
Splash flash slash. Back.
Splash flashcast. This is a show about swimming. So, what was I even talking about?
I don't know, man. Something about the
Quinn.
notch.
Oh, the notch.
The notch, yeah. Are you using those utilities that a lot of developers have made, like hide the notch, or I always find them kind of silly.
Yeah.
They are, I'll give you this, they are a really clever way to make a bunch of money now that...
Oh, yeah, the top notch people are just like raking it in.
Yeah.
So TJ sent this one in to me.
Or is this free?
Top-notch.
Oh, it's free. Top notch is free.
Top Notch is free, but it is promotion. It's clever. It's free, so people will go download it because it's promoting their other app, which is one of my very, very favorite Mac apps, which is CleanShot. Which is
clever.
If you ever take a screenshot on your Mac, this is the app you should use because it is absolutely superb. Do you use CleanShot? Do either of you use CleanShot?
No, but I'm checking it out right now.
Oh my god, CleanShot is
John
so
does.
good. It's so good.
Wait, it's a subscription for a screenshot app.
It's worth it.
Okay,
I don't think it's a subscription.
it is.
They have a one of those like
Steven is one of those people. Subscriptions.
No, I don't mind subscriptions. I was just surprised.
stop. You have to stop. You can buy it. And then they also have like a upload to the cloud service.
Okay.
And that's the subscription.
Okay.
Right? So they have 2 products.
Okay, I'm sorry, CleanShot X. I did not mean to sully your good name.
Mm-hmm. I would just say they're not sponsoring this episode, not CleanShot, but whom about well, they are, but that's not what it is. This is part of setup. It's in setup.
Okay.
If you're a setup customer, you can
There
get
you go.
CleanShot in that as well.
So what Top Notch does is it overlays black pixels over your top of your wallpaper, which is cool.
Top Notch.
I don't care.
Top Notch Splash Flash.
Not
Back.
top splash notch flash cast.
Box.
The notch is fine. Like it is I mean, you see it, like, but I think it will fade over time. I will say there is some bugginess around it. That's what Quinn was pointing out in his serious or not serious video, where for me at least, what happens is the menu bar apps, if you're not running something like Bartender, which I'm going to talk about in a second, they go under the notch. They don't wrap to the other side. So then you have like backblaze under the notch somewhere and you don't know that it's running and you can't see it because it's hiding out behind there.
But you can click it.
I think so.
So in Quinn's thing, he puts the battery behind the notch and clicks it and the battery thing pops down.
Yeah.
So like I saw Dieter Bohn say, and I think this might be the case, the people building menu bar, like the menu items, what are they called? Like when it's like file, edit, what is that? Is that menu?
Menu bar items.
What is that?
Just menus.
But then what's the ones with the little icons? Like text expander and blah, blah, blah.
Like menu bar apps.
All right, so, oh jeez. All right, so the menu bar items, they knew about the notch and could move around it, but people doing the menu bar apps things maybe didn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or like maybe they're just not allowed to go to the other side, so it's just like we'll just sneak on.
I don't know. And of course, this is going to be worse than the 14 and the 16 because the screen's just smaller. The notches are the same size. This is definitely the reverse Sherlocking a bartender. And the thing that I have switched on that I used to not use, I used a long time ago, and then I didn't, now I am again, is the option in Bartender to show things in a separate menu bar.
Oh, yeah.
So you get like a little secondary menu bar lower
Turn
down.
that on. Yeah, I'm gonna have to turn that on because mine just it just spreads across the menu bar, right?
Yep.
But like I'm looking at my iMac right now, and I've got so many things it's gone past the camera, so that's too far if it's if it's the same on my MacBook Pro. So
you want to click the use Bartender bar to show hidden items, and then it drops down below the notch, and it's totally fine. The developer of Bartender has released a beta that has some better support for the notch, but it's a work in progress. He found out about this the same time the rest of us did, but using the Bartender bar has been enough to clear it for me. So yeah, in practice, this will just take a little time, I think, for developers to wrangle it, and then we'll be all set. I do love that the cursor goes behind it and then comes out the other side. That's very fun. It's like, oh, where's it go? It's gone.
I like it. Just hide it down.
Just hide a little.
Actually, now I turn this on, the Bartender bar is a better UI.
I think it is too. And it picks up the color of your menu bar. So mine is like a kind of a greenish brown because I use a satellite photo for my wallpaper. Right. And it's colored the same. It just pops down right below. It's nice. A couple of just miscellaneous things. The speakers are great, but they're still laptop speakers. You're not going to replace your HomePod with a MacBook Pro, but they sound great for a laptop. I have not missed the touch bar yet. So it's nice having function keys. Dictation is now a dedicated function key, as it's been on some of the other Magic keyboards for a while, but now it's come to the MacBook Pro. You also have a Do Not Disturb button and no Launchpad button like I do on my desktop one. So, pros don't use Launchpad, I guess, is what we're saying.
I mean, that's accurate, though, right?
Can you believe Launchpad is still in macOS?
I mean, why get rid of it, I suppose, is the thinking, right?
Yes.
Like, just leave it there forever, but...
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, all in all, it is as impressive as it seemed in the keynote. There's nothing about it in person that has been a letdown compared to what I thought after the event and, reading about it and, seeing hands-on videos by, people on YouTube and stuff. So really, I think Apple's hit a home run here. And if you're looking for a powerful notebook and it works in your budget, because these, you can expect these to be pretty expensive, but if this is the machine for you, now is the time. Apple really has resolved basically everything wrong with the previous generation.
I can't wait to get mine.
When is it coming?
I don't know. It's the shipping is sometime before the 2nd, so next week.
Okay, very cool. Federico, have y'all ordered one? You were going to? I forget.
Not yet. We are going to, but not yet. We're still trying to sell some of the older stuff that we have, and we just don't want to, keep sort of growing the pile of Apple computers that we have. So we're trying to get rid of some inventory, if you will. Mm-hmm. And also, Sylvia still needs to make a decision as to which model she wants to buy. I think I'm going to go with the 14-inch myself, but first I really want to sell this Mac Mini. Or at least I want to make sure that I have a buyer for the Mac Mini before.
You don't want to sell the Mac Mini. I can, that's pretty, sell the Mac Mini, order the MacBook Pro, wait to January.
Yeah, exactly. No, I want to. I mean, I want to make sure that there's a smooth, peaceful transition in place.
Yeah, you want to. What is it, like a peaceful transition of power from machine to machine?
So we will get 2 of them, but we haven't yet.
Yeah, I'm also selling up a bunch of stuff. It's like a slow moving process, but
yeah,
spring clean time over here.
Yeah, I got my MacBook Pro will go for sale, the old one, and then
your Mac Pro,
and then
your Mac Pro.
I sold an old iPad Pro back to Apple because I just didn't want to deal with selling it online, so I traded it in, and it's great.
Our friend David Sparks was texting me after last week's episode, and he's like, "Oh man, that Pro display is really nice."
It's true.
But I got him back though.
I've been talking to Casey about it. Casey's trying to get me to make it okay to forgive him for buying it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know. This is an interesting development that I didn't know. We're putting everyone on blast here. But I did get Sparky back though, because he then continued listening to the episode, and I got to be the person who put in his mind that he's definitely going to end up with 2 of those. MacBook Pros,
Mm-hmm.
which is 100% his future.
We talk a lot more about that on the MPU that's coming out on Sunday.
Nice.
Also in that episode, we'll be talking a lot about macOS Monterey, which is our final topic for today. But let's take our last break.
Can I just say before we do, the
Yes, of
person
course.
who put the macOS Monterey topic into the show notes today was the one and only Federico Vitici. Can you believe it? He wants to do a Mac story.
He's the Mac event chairman.
I guess so, yeah.
That's what my magnet says right here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because I went to magtricky.com.
MacTricky.com. We're very promotion-y today, I realize.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know
No,
what. I'm recording standing up today, and I think I feel feisty because of it.
That's when you stand up. That's when you get your money pants on.
Who says that? This episode of Connected is brought to you by Pingdom from SolarWinds. Today's internet users expect a fast web experience. No matter how targeted your marketing content is or how sleek your website may be, people are going to bounce if a page is loading too slowly. But with real user monitoring from Pingdom, you can discover how website performance affects your visitors' experiences so you can take action before your business is impacted, all for as low as $10 a month. Whether your visitors are dispersed around the world, across browsers, devices, and platforms, Pingdom helps you identify bottlenecks, troubleshoot performance, and make informed optimizations. Real user monitoring is an event-based solution, so it's built to scale. This means that you can monitor millions of actual page views, not just sample data, all at an affordable price. Get live site performance visibility today with real user monitoring from Pingdom. Go to pingdom.com/relayfm right now for a 30-day free trial with no credit card required. Then when you're ready to buy, use the code CONNECTED at checkout to get an awesome 30% off your first invoice. Our thanks to Pingdom from SolarWinds for their support of the show and Relay FM. macOS Monterey.
So I put in this topic because it's the big macOS release that came out a couple of days ago, and I sort of wanted to discuss some of the highlights with you guys. I'm a pretty simple man here, and my one and only highlight is the Shortcuts app on the Mac.
Do you think it is the highlight of this release?
It's in a kind of rough state. Steven, you wrote about a really sad UI element in Shortcuts for Mac, which is I believe a list picker UI.
Yeah,
that is really just bad and kind of. I'm pretty sure the way I described it to John was it looks like a web form from a bank website in the 90s.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's such a good comparison.
It kind of looks like that. And there's a bunch of similar UIs in Shortcuts for Mac right now. There are so many weird interactions in the Mac version of Shortcuts. Like I was playing around with it this afternoon. I put together a shortcut that I'm going to talk about in a couple of minutes as an example of some of the limitations that you can find here. One of the things that I needed to do was I selected an empty parameter field in an action. And when you do that on an iPhone or iPad, the variable row appears above the keyboard, right? And you can tap those suggestions to add a variable to the empty parameter field. So let's say, for example, that you need to show an alert on screen. When you click into the empty field for the alert, right above the keyboard, you see the suggestion bar with the variables. And you tap the variable and you add it to the action. Very easy. On the Mac, there's no automatic suggestion bar or list whatsoever. You need to right-click into the empty parameter. And then there's like a contextual menu that pops up and lets you, and there's an option that says choose variable. And I just thought that was very weird because I'm used to, I click on an empty parameter, the app helps me out. It shows me previously created variables. Here, I click into it, nothing happens, and I need to figure out, I guess it's a right click to show a contextual menu to pick an option. It's just an extra, like a couple of extra steps that I do not exactly appreciate in shortcuts. And there's just these inconsistencies between the iPad version and the Mac version. Like, for example, you need to double click shortcuts from the main view, the grid view of the app, if you want to open them. And they have replaced the more like the ellipsis button with the play button on the Mac. I just don't understand why there have to be different interactions. I guess, yeah, double click is a Mac thing, right? Double clicking doesn't exist really on iPadOS as a way to confirm your action. But I wonder if it was more important to prioritize consistency with shortcuts rather than consistency with macOS in general. And that's a fascinating question for Apple in general right now. Like, do you prioritize consistency with apps coming from iPadOS and users coming from those apps? Or do you prioritize consistency with existing Mac users and existing Mac apps? And that's a fascinating problem to solve if you're Apple. But me personally, as a shortcuts for iPad user, coming into the Mac version, I thought it was weird that I had to double click to open a shortcut. Anyway, I tried to update one of my existing shortcuts that take a link from Safari and save the link to Trello. Pretty easy stuff, right? I want to take a web page and save it as a new item in a Trello board. The problem is that on iOS and iPadOS, this shortcut runs as a share sheet shortcut. I open Safari, I'm on the page I want to save, and I hit share, run my shortcut. It takes the link from the page because shortcuts integrates with the share sheet. Now, on the Mac, shortcuts do not integrate with the share sheet at all. And that doesn't make any sense because
they're everywhere else, though. They're in the menu bar. And
I didn't know that. They've put them in so many places, but not in the one place they are on iOS.
I know. Exactly. Like, why? Like, again, I understand that on the Mac, extensions are not as popular as on iOS, like share sheet extensions. But you're Apple, and you should be a champion of your own feature here, especially because that feature is found on iPhone and iPad. And I would think, again, as an iPad user, being intrigued by Monterey and by the fact that I can use my shortcuts now, I'm like, oh, cool. I guess it just works like on the iPad. It's the same shortcut. I hit share from Safari and it works, but nope. Like you hit share and the shortcut is not there. Then I confirmed this with John, and John told me, yeah, shortcuts does not integrate with the share sheet at all on iOS. So I thought, okay, what does that mean for all of these actions that I use on my other devices that are based on the share sheet? And especially Safari actions. Like, integration with Safari is one of the best aspects of shortcuts on the iPhone and iPad. You can take the link of the current page. You can take the selection from the current page. You can get a bunch of metadata from the current page in shortcuts on iOS and iPadOS. You know what I had to do? So on the Mac, and I'm checking again now. Let's see, menu bar, double click. This is so weird. On the Mac, they have a separate Safari action called Get Current URL from Safari. I guess this is one of the actions, like this is one of the leftover, like one of the actions that came from Automator. You can tell because of the description. Gets the URL of the web page in the frontmost Safari window. The concept of the frontmost Safari window, that's an Automator legacy thing, right? And in fact, it says this action can only be run on Mac. So, okay, you didn't make the share sheet integration happen, but you just put yourself in a corner where in order to have basic integration with Safari, you had to make a separate action instead of making sure that the existing ones could work on the Mac as well.
Maybe the Safari team was just too busy. Put it in. It's just like, hey, we got too much going on over here. Leave us
Fix
alone.
the tabs.
Leave us alone.
The second thing that I had to do was more interesting and problematic, but also a pretty good example of the freedom that you have in shortcuts for Mac. The URL I figured out how to get from the page, but I also needed to get the title of the page. And other actions were not working. So I realized, okay, this is a Mac. Shortcuts has backwards compatibility with Automator stuff. I can potentially just get the title of the page using a very simple Apple script, right? So what I ended up doing is I added this very simple check to my shortcut, which says, get the device model. If the device model is a Mac, run Apple script. And there's a one-line Apple script that says, tell Safari to get the name of the current tab. And that's how I fixed my shortcut that was working just fine on iOS and iPadOS to work on the Mac, so that I could do a very simple thing, which is get the link and the title of the current tab in Safari. And I had to rely on scripting. Now, this is what do they call it? Like a double-edged knife? Is that the expression?
Double-edged sword.
Sword, yeah.
Which is like a big knife, sword. Really, if you think about it.
I mean, a sword is a big knife with a different handle. So yeah.
If you think about it. Yeah.
It's not called a handle though, is it, for swords?
It's
got a name. There's a name
hilt?
to it.
Hilt. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I can't believe
Good
I pulled
job.
that out of my brain.
Wow. Okay. It's beautiful, right? Oh, the feature doesn't exist. I can just write my own script. That's cool. But at the same time, it also kind of defeats the purpose of shortcuts, which is you don't have to know scripting languages. There's visual actions. And what I find especially weird, and that to me kind of sums up the state of shortcuts on the Mac right now, these things were working just fine on iOS and iPadOS. But some of them, and only some of them, in a very inconsistent way, don't work on Monterey. And that I don't understand. It's not the bugginess ultimately that kills me. It's the inconsistency of it. And the fact that I don't understand why only some of these things are not working in shortcuts right now. But otherwise, now that I fix it, I'm very happy because the same shortcut now works on my Mac. And I used to be that if I discovered the link when I was working on my Mac Mini, I had to hand off the link to my iPhone and then run the shortcut there. Now I can run the shortcut on the Mac. It's beautiful. I like it. It's gonna be a very nice time-saving tool for me. And now I can, on Monterey, I can also do window automation with shortcuts, which is something that I want to look into. But yeah, I hope that they can make it more consistent with the iOS and iPadOS versions, especially when it comes to actions and the share sheet. And also SwiftUI related interface problems and glitches are to be expected, right? So there's definitely some of that. And parts of the app are, as Steven said, are very sad and very strange looking. It's like this app is brand new and it looks old at the same time. And I don't know why.
Yeah. And some of it comes down to not being very Mac-like. And so if you have a dictionary, you're putting keys and values in, you would think that double-clicking into that would give you a text insertion point, but you have to hit return, which is okay. That is another way of doing it on the Mac. But then to remove a step or a block of automation from a shortcut, you have to hit the little X. You can't hit delete or command delete. It's they've got to make this more like other Mac apps. People who are looking to use shortcuts on the Mac care about that stuff, right? I care about it. Now, I'm super glad it's here. I have taken some shortcuts and reworked them. I do find it overall easier to build shortcuts and edit them on the Mac than especially the iPhone, where you can get in trouble dragging and dropping it, especially in the newer versions of shortcuts. But Yeah, there's a lot of UI stuff that's just needs some more time. But we talked about that a lot. Swift UI.
Yeah.
I do like, we touched on it, I want to go back to it. I do like that shortcuts are basically everywhere. So you can bind a shortcut to a system-wide keyboard command. Man, iPad OS should have that.
I didn't know that was one of the options.
Yes.
I've been putting them in the menu bar. I didn't know you could do that.
You can do that too. So if you go into a shortcut to edit it, you can say that it's a service, and then you can give it a keyboard shortcut within shortcuts, the application, or in the keyboard preference pane and system preferences.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. And I wish the iPad had that, especially you got a keyboard right there. What a concept. Anything beyond shortcuts? I mean, so much of what's coming to Monterey isn't quite here yet. And what is coming mostly is iOS 15 features, which is good. Like they should tie the Mac and the other stuff closer together.
I mean, I'm happy for focus modes, and I am happy for new Safari because especially now, I really love tab groups. It's such a great feature. Like I just feel like I need to keep saying it because when anybody talks about Safari, it's like, Safari tabs, right? And it's just like, we'll just think about that all the time. But like tab groups is just such a great feature. Like I love it. I use it every day. I've really it's really become something that I enjoy. I mean, Safari on the Mac has like a weird thing where like you tap a link from elsewhere, it just opens a new window, which is like not at all what Safari does on iOS.
No.
Like on iOS and iPadOS, it just opens it just opens a new tab in your last used tab group, which I think makes the most sense. But like on the Mac, it's just like, hey, have a new window. And it's like, well, all right, now it's really hard for me to move this into a tab group because Windows.
Yeah. There is a setting to like
doesn't do anything, man.
It doesn't do anything with tab groups. Okay.
Well, let me tell you, I know it doesn't. It didn't do anything with Safari on High Sierra or whatever it is. What is it? So is High Sierra is the current one before Monterey? No, Big Sur.
Big Sur. High Sierra was like 4 years ago.
Yeah. Isn't there Catalina even before Big Sur?
Yeah. He missed by several.
I don't know what I'm doing. I missed so many of them. Like just, I haven't tried actually that specific thing on that feature, that setting on a Monterey. Is it called Monterey? Yeah, I'm so confused now. On Monterey, I've only tried it on a Big Sur Safari.
Yeah, you're thinking of Mountain Lion.
Oh, please stop it because I genuinely I can't remember which one's which now. And also focus modes. I'm really happy to have focus modes. That's just a feature that I really have come to like, and I like that I'll be able to turn it on one device and it's on all devices. Like, so when I have my recording focus mode on, it would also turn it on and off on my iMac. Which I should say, my iMac is still on whatever the version of macOS it's on. Steven, you moved on your Mac Pro, right? You moved to Monterey?
I did.
Can I move to Monterey on my iMac now?
Yeah, totally fine.
All right, great. I'm going to do that then. I only got it on my MacBook Pro, which I did. I mean, I was interested to do it, but I wanted to be on my MacBook Pro. I wanted to have the most recent version for when the new MacBook Pro arrives and I do Migration Assistant, because I feel like that's probably always a good idea.
Which is fun. My old MacBook Pro was still in the beta, and Migration Assistant was like, "Hey, you're on the beta. What do you want to do about that?" It's good. They've gotten a lot smarter about that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm into it for those reasons. I'm intrigued still to try out Universal Control. I know I won't use it, but I'm intrigued to try it. I think that's kind of all of macOS.
I like that it's a quieter year. You know, the last 2 years we've had a lot of turbulence. You had Catalina that killed all 32-bit apps, and then you had Big Sur with a redesign. And it feels like Monterey doesn't really bring anything super dramatic. You know, talking about the laptops, right? This is a pretty drama-free version of macOS, and I think that's what the Mac needed. I do think, though, like in using it, especially in the era of the new iPad multitasking. Like, I don't want that on the Mac, but I do think like the split screen stuff, full screen apps, mission control is still pretty messy on the Mac. And there is a new feature. I didn't even know about this. David Sparks pointed out to me that if you're in a split screen, you know, right and left, you can now replace one of those apps without breaking the split screen, which is cool. You can just bring another app in to tile on either side.
Very iPad OS-y.
It is. But y'all, like just take Windows 11 window management and Sherlock it.
Yeah, I want it so bad.
That's all you gotta do.
Like they've really done a good job of it. I want it so bad.
Yeah, I use Better Touch Tool on the Mac just for that, like the snapping with the corners and the multiple windows. You can now sort of replicate that with shortcuts. In fact, one of their sort of built-in shortcuts in the gallery on the Mac is just like a version of that. It's called, I believe, Tile Last 4 Windows. But obviously, like, you shouldn't have to use a shortcut for it. And it's much more intuitive to just grab a window, drag it to the side or like a corner, and it snaps. That's so much better. And I mean, eventually Apple will steal that feature. It's one of those interaction things that just makes sense. And eventually everybody copies it because it makes sense.
Anything else with Monterey?
I don't think so.
Well, I think that does it for this week. We got a lot of ground covered. We unboxed a cleaning cloth. We talked about AirPods.
MagTricky.com.
MagTricky.com. Thank you to everyone who has ordered while I've been recording. Those will be up through November 11th, and then we'll ship in December. MagTricky.com. If you want to read more about the stuff we spoke about this week on the show, there's a bunch of links on our website at relay.fm/connected/369.
Nice.
I thought we were going to go the whole time. Right at the end. Snuck it in there. We have a bunch of awesome shows on Relay FM. Conduit is a new show by our friends Kathy and Jay, where they talk about their own brand of productivity. It's a lot of fun. So go check out Conduit while you're on the Relay website. You can send us an email, or you can find us on Twitter for feedback or follow-up. Mike is there as IMYKE. Mike, what else are you up to right now?
I recommend people keep an ear out for Upgrade on Monday. We have an interview coming up with Tim Millay and Tom Boger from Apple. We're talking about the new Apple Silicon chips, the M1 Pro and M1 Max chips. It's really good.
I'm looking forward to that. Those guys are awesome.
They're really great. I can't wait for people to hear it.
You can find Federico on Twitter at Viticci, Viticci, and he's the editor-in-chief of MacStories.net. We didn't even mention it. We just glossed right over it, but the One True John has written a really awesome macOS Monterey review. It's on Mac Stories.
The One True Review.
One True Review.
It's that one. Yes. You did a very good job.
I have some One True John Easter eggs in the Aqua screenshot library for Monterey. Just got to go dig through there and find them. You can find me on Twitter as ISMH, and I write over at 512pixels.net and host a bunch of other shows here on Relay FM, including Mac Power Users, Liftoff, Flashback, Backsplash. That's our tiling podcast where we talk about kitchen tiles. Backsplash.
Sure.
Come on, that was good.
No, I got it.
It just doesn't have a comment.
Yeah, no.
It just took your breath away.
Yeah, that's true. My brain couldn't comprehend.
My breath away.
Boom.
Na, na, na.
Boom, boom, boom.
I'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Trade Coffee, Clean My Mac X, and Pingdom. I'd like to thank our members for supporting the show directly. And until next time, y'all, say goodbye.
Arrivederci.
Cheerio.
Bye, y'all.